feels like the winds are picking up today, and it seems like as well a lot more people are riding their bikes super fast on a trail just because there's less people, the people in school and all that now. And with that in mind, what was going on today? It's kind of interesting actually reading this. It made me wonder how this would be feasible considering there's a war there. This one says Zelensky says Turkish drone maker to build Ukraine factory. It says Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Friday met with the head of Turkish defense from Bayraktar and said the company would set up factory in Ukraine to build unmanned aerial vehicles. These were the drones that were heavily showcased, I guess, in so many videos and stuff like that. It says Bayraktar's Bayraktar TB2 drone has been hugely popular in Ukraine, where it helped destroy many Russian artillery systems and armored vehicles. We discussed the details of the construction of the Bayraktar factory in Ukraine and the production of new goods using Ukrainian components, Zelensky said in an online post after meeting Bayraktar chief executive Haluk Bayraktar in Kyiv. A video posted online showed Zelensky giving Bayraktar the Ukrainian Order of Merit. In return, Zelensky received a traditional embroidered Ukrainian shirt featuring a drone. And with that, it says Russia complained about, I guess, Turkey selling drones to Ukraine before, but it makes me wonder again if they're thinking of setting up a factory and all that, considering again there's a war there, wouldn't they just blow it up like while it's in construction? So that's kind of strange to think about in that sense, but either way, the war continues, I guess. And it sounds like in the US, more companies are getting, I guess, approval to use their large drones for things like delivery, I guess. This one says Matternet M2 drone delivery system, first to achieve FAA type certification. Matternet, developer of the world's leading urban drone delivery system, today announced that Matternet M2 drone has achieved type certification by the Federal Aviation Administration. So in achieving this type certification by the FAA, they say here, it's kind of interesting, as the first non-military unmanned aircraft to achieve type certification in the US, this gives Matternet a strong competitive advantage in the drone delivery market. The completion of the 4-year rigorous evaluation by the FAA proves the safety and reliability of the M2 aircraft, a key step in scaling US commercial drone operations. So does that mean they have kind of a leg up versus other companies like say Amazon or a Walmart that are getting aggressive with things like drone delivery and all that? And according to them, it wasn't easy. It says the evaluation process imposes stringent requirements on the design of the aircraft, how it's documented, and how it's tested across a wide range of conditions and over thousands of flights. As a result, it was proven that the M2 drone is airworthy and eligible for commercial delivery operations in the US. So more drone delivery will definitely be coming, and it makes you wonder, will regular average citizens be okay with this considering how much fear-mongering there are with a recreational drone? And I mentioned before, everyone thought, oh, this will get rid of them and so forth, but ultimately, all you're doing is just making space for commercial operations, so let's see how people react in that way. And in terms of public reaction, it was kind of fascinating just reading some updates in terms of what's going on around the world with those farmer protests. And here, apparently, some officials are actually resigning, I guess, because of that. It says here, Dutch agriculture minister resigns after farmers kick up a stink over pollution regulations. The Dutch agriculture minister has resigned amid a tumultuous summer of protests by farmers over pollution regulations. Henk Staghouwer, who held the position for only 9 months, announced his departure on Twitter. He told reporters that he wasn't the right person for the job and would be resigning. The country's lucrative agriculture sector has been in crisis since a 2019 court ruling forced the government to slash emissions of nitrogen oxide and ammonia, which livestock produce. Thousands of agricultural workers have staged protests blockading cities with tractors and burning hay bales along major roads. Farmers and fishermen need certainty about where the sector is headed so that they can invest and do business, he said. So I guess with this, it sounds like the farmers are getting their point across in terms of what they want. I have to wonder too, again, for these topics, I'm personally not an expert per se. I don't do in-depth reviews and all that in regards to things like data to see who's right and who's wrong. But it does make me wonder in these cases, like with most things in life, why is it always with these situations it's one way or the highway? That's what I wonder personally. For example, if you say planting a tree helps reduce pollution because of this and that, then shouldn't that be an option as well? Where if you admit, let's just say X amount of this carbon and so forth, and planting X amount of trees and so forth kind of negates that, then wouldn't that be a solution too? If you think about it, I'm wondering why wouldn't you do that as well? because it makes me think of this funny story. I don't know if it's true, I think it is, where before there was an area where it lost all their trees and all that, and what someone did or something like that was they dumped tons of orange peels like around the area, I guess as an experiment or whatever. Like according to them, they said, okay, this should work maybe to restore the forest, but then there were a lot of activists that say, hey, stop polluting the area, and there's a lot of, I don't know, riots and so forth or something like that. But as it turned out, as years went by, holy, you can see the place, it looks like it's fully grown back to like a huge forest, like the environment was restored in that case. So it makes me wonder, in that sense, are people being closed-minded in terms of the solutions they could be using in these scenarios? A fresh example too, like with things such as the mandates in recent times, a lot of people were insistent, nope, you gotta do it like this. This is the best way 100%. Whereas in present time, they're admitting and backtracking, okay, this wasn't the best way to do it, or this didn't turn out how we expected in terms of the results. And similarly there, my concern would be a lot of people were reluctant or refused to accept any other option that could potentially work just as well, which would make me believe the goal there isn't so much about the situation itself. Ultimately, unfortunately, it's more about pushing that procedure or whatever it is you want to do, which is what I would ask here. Why aren't you being open-minded to every solution, I would say anyways. Alright, see you guys later.